Godarz and Shaghayegh by Waranavich. Nearly half a century ago, before the Revolution of '79, my dear friend, the late Mir Ahmad Fakhri Nezad, known by his pen name Shivan Fumani, the renowned poet of Gilan, and I were present at the University of Gilan in Rasht. At the time, the university was brimming with unrest due to student protests. We had come to listen to speeches given by volunteer speakers. In those days, I wrote under the pseudonym Kodam, myself, meaning whenever someone read my poems and asked, "Who is the poet?" they'd reply, "Myself." In essence, each reader became the owner of my poetry. Likewise, if a poet recited a poem, and when asked who wrote it, replied myself, some would think it was mine, and so I remained anonymous. Anyway, the fifth speaker at the University of Gilan was someone widely known, a turbaned man named Ehsan Bakhsh, who at the time was the principal of a private high school and later became the Friday prayer leader of Rasht. Let me also mention that back then, the saying, "What does a fart have to do with a temple?" had just started to circulate, and it later morphed into Godarz and Shaghayegh. That corrupt cleric, Ehsan Bakhsh, gave not a speech but a stream of nonsense. When he finally left the university building, I wrote a satirical double couplet about him and titled it "The Relation Between Godarz and Shaghayegh." Under the verse, I signed "Poet, myself," unaware that the moderator and overseer of the event, also, for reasons unknown, wearing a cloak and turban, was observing. I handed the poem to my friend Shivan Fumani and said, "If you're going up to speak, read this too." He read it, looked at me, and said, "This place is crawling with phalanges, a term for aggressive hardliners. Better to find a student and ask him to read it." As luck would have it, a person from the row behind us stood up to make a statement. Mir Ahmad called out to him, "Sir, would you mind reading these few lines after your talk?" The man took the folded paper without glancing at it and went to the mic. He greeted the audience, unfolded the note, and read the two couplets. Suddenly, several people from the front rows stood up and shouted, "Who wrote this poem?" The man, clearly rattled, glanced again at the paper, smiled nervously, and said, "The poet, myself." Before he could explain that someone had handed it to him, those men rushed the stage and beat him savagely. He never got the chance to say how it had all come about. We quietly slipped out of the venue, because had we tried to intervene, there wouldn't have been a piece of us left big enough to hang an ear on. And here is the couplet: "The relation between Godarz and Shaghayegh. This turbaned man is cloaked in mystery, a degenerate thug, and a coward is he. O people, know this worthless fraud well. Indeed, the fart is linked to the temple's shell." Poet, myself, Waranavich.